Welcome to Inside Plug, the podcast where independent creators and entrepreneurs connect and inspire. I'm your host, Devon Jones. Today on our show, we have actor and veteran Geordie Cheeseman. Geordie, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Glad to have you. You're for this season, you're our first actor who is also a veteran. But before we talk about your military status, when did you decide that acting was something that you wanted to pursue?
Oh, I think it's always been a passion of mine. I even in high school, but we didn't have a drama club. We had a play that started up. I auditioned, I got a role, but then the play didn't happen. And later on, well, I needed to pay bills, so it's I ended up not acting, not until I retired from the military.
All right. Could you share a little bit more about that play? What was the play? What role where you were looking
Oh
to
gosh.
get, if you don't mind?
No, I don't mind. It's wow, it's like 40 years ago now. It was a high school play, and I was going to play a robot named Hal. I know it was during, like you think of 2001, The Space Odyssey. I'm pretty sure that's where he got his name from.
All right.
And I'd only just got into memorizing some of the lines before it was canceled, so I uh, I can't really remember much more than that.
Got you, got you. All right. Eventually it came back around. That acting career came back around. All right. So before you actually took off with your acting career, you were in the Canadian Armed Forces. So if you can share a little bit about that journey, how was the boot camp and what was your job in the military?
Uh, it's 27 years in the infantry, so yeah, I started out digging trenches and crawling through cactus in in Canada here, and the different training areas we have. And yeah, I just made it up through private to sergeant. We have different rank structure than you guys, but it's very similar. And then I applied for the university transfer program that they offer in the forces here, and I got accepted after a couple of times. And I went to the Royal Military College in Ontario, and when I graduated, I became an officer, and I did my last 5 or maybe 6 years as an officer. And that was kind of a funny name I had, Captain Cheeseman. It sounded like a comic book character. So yeah.
Nice, nice. All right. So just out of curiosity, military, was it something that just, woke up one day, I want to join the military, or something that you kind of always had inside, but just wasn't sure?
Well, I grew up on a farm, and my parents thought that going to cadets would be good structure. And then after I hit the age where I could join the reserves, or as you call them, the National Guard, they pushed me into flipping into there. And then I did a tour in the reserves. And then when I was done that, I had a chance to go over to the regular forces. I'm not sure if you guys call them the regular forces or not, but and I did that for over 2 decades. So, you know, I grew up in an area of Canada where employment was not guaranteed. It was very high unemployment rates, and I've always had a strong need to make money, to be a provider, and yeah, I joined the army. Wasn't my dream job, but I always believed that you can make a difference even in a large organization like that. And it takes guns to take away guns. So I've always felt that. So I joined all idealistic, and then I really did enjoy it. There are ups and downs, of course. It's the army, but it was rewarding. The last few years, not so much. Sat in a desk, didn't really enjoy it, but the rest of it was really good.
Nice. That's good to hear. Thank you for your service.
Thanks.
And yeah, on the American side, we have it enlisted, and then we have the officers. Um, so it's fairly the same.
Yeah, we
Um,
had enlisted in officers as well.
all right, nice. Were you able to take any tours while you were serving?
Yeah, I've been to Bosnia and Croatia. Yeah, few tours. Yeah. When Afghanistan happened, when the towers came down, I was an instructor at that point. And Wow, everybody remembers where they were. They say that about JFK's assassination, right? But yeah, I remember where I was when the towers came down, and yeah, it was pretty scary stuff. But I didn't go to Afghanistan. Thankfully, this ginger wouldn't have done well in the sun.
Glad they kept you safe. Yeah, definitely. When the towers came, I believe everyone knew exactly where they were at. You know, me personally, I knew I'm from New York. I lived in New York at that time. I was in high school, second period. I can see the smoke from my school. You know, they let us out, and unfortunately, I had a job interview in that area that day. Um, Me being stubborn, I attempted to go there, you know, but the subway system didn't allow me to fully make my interview, which was fine. I ended up getting the job anyway. But yeah, it was an experience. Um,
Yeah.
all right. So, 27 years in the military, and then that's when your acting career decided to take off, or was there like something before that?
Well, I did a couple of small things here and there while I was still serving. I mean, there are a couple of weekend things. I took some leave for this and that, but very small parts in a couple of TV shows. But when I retired from the military, it took me about a year before I decided to follow my dreams. At first I was looking for a job. I was looking to make more money, but then I was like, well, why? My pension pays my bills, so I have a lot of freedom to do whatever I want. So I started looking for acting jobs. Agents are really easy to find, right? I mean, most agents don't turn people away because they get a cut out of everything you make. So the more they have, the more they make. Yeah, I had a couple of agents, and I like the one I'm with now. And yeah, it was slow at first, like most things, but then it just started getting more and more and more. And I'd love to be in some more mainstream stuff. Right now, it's mostly independent films, but I've been in things here and there.
All right. Nice. So you got your agent, you know, you're making your way on production sets. Could you share a little bit about your first project? Was it a short film?
Well, I like to think of my first project as being Moments in Space-Time. That was my first real role.
All right.
And I got to act alongside John Rhys Davies. He's the guy that played Gimli in Lord of the Rings, that actor, and he's quite a dynamic person. But the role itself, I remember I studied those lines and I had them down like within the first week, and probably had about a dozen pages. And when I got to set, I was more. I think I worried more about getting them right than I did about how I delivered them. And I look back on that, and I don't know. I think every actor takes their own path. But I was really excited. Oh my gosh, red carpet ceremony. It was just funny. You feel like King of Cock Walk, right? And yeah, I mean, I wasn't the star of the show, but I was father to the star. John Rhys Davies played my dad, but we didn't actually have scenes together. But I did get to meet him, and he was quite an interesting guy. So, and yeah, I've played all kinds of characters from priests to killers to dads, and I get a lot of police officer roles. Um, Funny, I don't get that many soldier roles. I've only had a couple of those. So,
That's an awesome start. And also with the characters that you play, out of curiosity, do you have like a favorite moment of the characters that you play? Do you have like a preferred character that you like more than the other?
well, I was the lead in three movies called Spearfishing with a PH, like spearfishing, like on the internet when you get spearfished. And and my name was Colt Hansen,
Mm.
right? So if ever dictate to Google, it always comes off as Cold Handsome.
Mm.
And it's funny because it is meant to be a play on words. And he had some funny one-liners, which I can't take credit for. It was the writer, but some of them are really funny. Like maybe you didn't get the memo. The home team won. Stuff like that, right? or I can shove Atlantic lobsters up your ass all day. You know, it's just funny lines, and that was good. But I think my favorite role is the one I'm doing right now for a play that I'm in. I play a guy named Norman in a production or a play being that's called Cash on Delivery, and it opens on April 4th. I'm really excited about it. I play a comedic character, kind of like and get through all the lies that he's weaving. It's a 2 hour play, so I'm very excited about it.
All right, yeah, definitely. We have to get a link for that whenever it is available so we can. Is it going to be in Canada or is it going to be here in the US?
But it's just a live play. It's dinner theater actually,
All
and
right.
yeah, there's no job too small or too big that I wouldn't take for acting. I just love it so much. I'm very passionate about it. And heroes of mine would be like Anthony Hopkins, Patrick Stewart, or Hugh Jackman. You know, people who are very versatile. Like they've got, they're actors, but they're also do a lot of stage work, humanitarian work. They know how to sing. You know, I really, well, maybe not Anthony Hopkins. I don't think he can sing. But uh, but yeah, just I love versatile actors. I look up to them.
Nice, nice. Actually, that was my next question. I was gonna say who were some of your inspirations for acting? Those are great inspirations. So when you're preparing for these roles and you have a script, you have a new character, whether it's a priest, a policeman, how do you have like a certain preparation that you go through to get ready for these roles, or do you have like a certain how do you get prepared?
Well, I like method acting. I like, Tom Cruise is pretty well known for it, like living like a vampire for a month before he did Interview with a Vampire. I like doing a bit of that, but the first thing I do is you go to the table read. I record the table read and I take out my segments and I put them into Adobe Premiere Pro and then I take out my words. And then I have an audio copy with everything that doesn't have me in it. And then maybe I put a little cue in there, like Pavlov's dog, right? Like a little snapping noise or something like that. And and then I'll practice the long monologues first, and then I'll read through the play or the script. I'll read it. I read through it a few times so I get the nuances, and then I just run it over and over again while I'm working out, while I'm driving. I always do it concurrently because if you can do it while you're doing other things, then it comes more naturally, I find. And then I start putting the method acting into it. Like, what is this character really like? What's he really trying to say? That's when you have lots of time. Like people who do soap operas, I don't know how they do it. They get like a phone book the morning
Mm,
that they're supposed to be acting, and then they got to go through that freaking script. I don't know how they do that, but they're probably used to it.
nice, nice. It's good preparation. So besides the preparation for acting, when you have like downtime and your free time, spare time, what do you like to do to kind of unwind and relax?
Um, well, I probably play on my phone a little too much, but I do like to go kayaking. I like to go to the gym. I'm a father of four. Two of them are adults, but I do have two at home. I have 50-50 custody, so I see them the second half of every month. One just came home from school, actually. I can hear him coming through the door.
Nice.
And and uh so they all keep me pretty busy, just keeping house as a single parent. And yeah, but I do like to travel. I was down there in San Diego just a couple of weeks ago, and I was there for a week, meeting up with a lovely lady there, and we're dating now, long distance. So I'll be down there again, and yeah, just traveling, living every moment. Like I try to be like that Jim Carrey movie, Yes Man. I try to say yes to pretty much everything so that I can experience it. Because the army taught me that, right? The army taught me that even if you're not ready to do something, you still got to take that step to get it done or to just experience new things. And it taught me to be less afraid to take chances. So,
Nice. Got a little joke for, the Navy over here. We're kind of the opposite. We consider the Navy NAVY for never again volunteer yourself. So we're not told to say yes to everything, you know, because we did. We're under the pressure of never again, you know, put yourself out there. But it's more of a joke. But
Yeah, but when you're a soldier or a seaman, or it doesn't matter if when you're a service member, you tend to value the time outside of the forces more, right? Like right
mm,
now, today is a gift, right? Because you're not sitting in a trench that you dug, or you're not working on the boat or whatever. And also, if you look back on your career, and I think that perspective is something that a lot of veterans should have. But a lot don't, but I think that's what they should have. Like you can do anything,
yeah, yeah,
you,
that's true.
except maybe being like an aeronautic space engineer or something. So there's some things that you just simply can't.
All right,
But
well, they got the Space Force now, so not far from
yeah,
there. Yeah. All right. So yeah, okay. So let's talk about some of your projects that we have here. You did say that you're in a play right now, but besides the play, I have some of your films. One of them is called Grotesque 2.
yes.
Could you share a little bit about that?
Grotesque 2, it's an exciting and campy a slasher movie starring Elizabeth Chamberlain. And if you haven't already interviewed her, she's a real treat. And she plays a character named Mildred Moyer. And so part one ended, everything was fine. Part two starts up, and well, things go beyond her control, and they upset her, and she goes on another murdering spree. And I'll say that much. But it was a lot of fun, and I play a character that comes in and out of it, and I'm right there at the very end of the play of the movie as well. And I survived her, so I'll probably be in part three, or
Nice, nice,
or a rumored Christmas special. But yeah, so yeah, that's a lot of fun, tons of fun. And yeah, the hearse driver, that's another one. That's a short film by Stephen Pace, and the star of that one, Julie Whalen. She's another delight, and she's got a lot of good facial expressions, and she can put terror on really well. Like she's really good at looking afraid. And yeah, I'm basically the boogeyman that haunts her. So, and yeah. And then there are some other films coming up this spring and summer. I'm in one called Bad Luck Badger, which is growing with the crew, with the people who are running it and the all the stakeholders. It's a growing thing. My Year of Nothing, from the same writer as that wrote Grotesque 2, Brandon Rhiness, amazing playwright. Uh, he's yeah, he puts out some really good scripts, but this one isn't a slasher, it's a drama, a coming of age movie. And I've got a really good character in there that I'm looking forward to digging my teeth into.
nice, nice. So with your different type of genres as an actor, do you have a preferred genre, or you're just flexible to whatever script that you feel you can connect to?
I I would prefer dramas, to be honest, because my role models, I mean, they they're like Anthony Hopkins, right? I mean, he's got some really deep characters, and I would love to be able to put that together. And this one, My Year of Nothing, is like that. I'm the guy next door who helps the main character navigate some of her life, and I'm really really looking forward to that. Um, yeah, I like things where I can be me. And when he asked me to be Oliver in this movie, he said that when he met me, he had already had this written like many years ago. He said when he met me, he just imagined me as Oliver because it's the way I am normally, and I really like that. Um, Yeah, I like things that show my caliber. Horror movies and slashers, they're entertaining, they're fun, you can mass produce them, and they're great. And I'm glad I'm in them, and I'm probably going to be in a lot more. Uh, but I would prefer dramas.
Nice. All right. Where can people find these films that you've been in if they're available online or YouTube, on Amazon Prime?
Best thing, because they're all over. The best thing would be to look me up on the Internet Movie Database, IMDb, and see what I'm in, and just Google each film. But some of them are on Tubi. Uh, some of them are on Netflix, but I just got minor characters on those ones. And movies, heck, you can buy them down in Walmart there in the United States on Blu-ray if you wanted to. Uh, and yeah, so you could buy them on Blu-ray, or yeah, or you could just email the company themselves, and you could probably buy it cheaper through them, and they'll ship it to you.
Good to
Western
know.
Direct.
Yeah, and I'll take a search for those links to those films, and when I find them, I'll put them in the description so the filmmakers can check those out. So also, outside of acting and your military career, there is a period where you did some bodybuilding competition. Could you share a little bit about that journey with us?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been into exercise. Even before I joined the military, I like to jog and but of course in the army they promote you being healthy in mind and body. So the body part did a lot of working out, but you can never really watch your diet because you're on rations sometimes, or sometimes that in the mess hall, sometimes that cake looks just so damn good, right? But when I left the military, I really wanted to change my physique. So I went and saw a trainer, and the trainer asked me if I ever considered competing. I'm like, no. But my wife at the time, she's like, "Oh, just do it." So I signed up to have the weights, the posing, and the diet all together with this trainer. She's also a dietitian and a registered nurse, so she knew what she was talking about. And I did my first show, and I won my category, and of course won the novice, the true novice, all those ones. And then I've done them since. I mean, I'm in shape right now to go on stage in a couple of months if I wanted to, maybe even in a month. I just have to cut. I eat chicken and rice every day, and don't get tired of it. Just use different sauces. I'm so used to it now, and I really believe high health is vital in today's world. Because you never know what's coming. You never know when you may need to run up a few flights of stairs or be there for your family. And if you don't look after your health, then you can't do a lot of those things. So, and it helps the acting career too. I have another role coming up in a film that's a little delayed. It's called Gladiatrix, and although it's not cemented yet, I have a role there where I'll be the trainer of the female gladiators, and that'll be fun. I can showcase the muscles there. So yeah,
Awesome.
and yeah, I've got a bunch of trophies and won a cup for best overall. And the last time I did it, beat all the age categories. So not bad for 50 in my
Yeah.
50s. Yeah.
Nice. Congratulations. What is your take on cheat meals? I know a lot of powerlifters, bodybuilders, they have this thing to where I gotta have a cheat meal. I'm not sure if I can have this cheat meal. What would you say about that?
Well, there's a lot of theory on it. I've done some reading on it, and apparently the idea of it is like for bulking. It's also to let your body know it's not starving. And I just don't. I eat healthy all the time, but if I get pizza for the kids, I might have a slice. You know, um, if it's my last month before a competition, I don't even I don't even put mayonnaise on my meals. I go very strict. And cheat meals, yeah. Dwayne Johnson, yeah, I know he's big on the cheat meal day. He'll eat like 5 pizzas in a day or something like that. Bucket of ice cream and that's crazy stuff. But I don't see why you just can't eat healthy all the time. I have a hard time not eating healthy because if I have something with sugar in it or bread, I feel kind of, I don't feel good afterwards. So, uh, it's whatever your trainer tells you to do or whatever works for you. Everyone's different. So everyone's going to tailor their workouts differently.
All right, I got one more for this category. So when it comes to like drinking, they say it's preferred to drink a lot of water, but you have some people who like protein shakes, and then you have other people who like creatine. What is your take on those three
All right.
intake?
Well, drinking water is probably something a lot of us don't do enough of. So drink lots of water. It's just good for you. Flushes you out. Not too much so. I once saw a guy pass out from drinking too much water. He depleted his electrolytes so much. He just, and it was kind of funny at the time. Um, and the creatine, lots of studies there that show it's not the devil it used to be. Uh, Creatine's not the devil it used to be. And a lot of studies that show that's really good for women too. So I take a little 5 milligram scoop every day with creatine. I don't even cycle it. I just have it every day. And so yeah, it's water, creatine, and what was the other one? It
Protein
was
shakes.
protein shakes. Yeah. I like my morning coffee. So what I do is I actually make a mocha, with that chocolate mousse protein powder, a little bit of milk, and some coffee. And now that's the only milk I drink in a day. A lot of people don't like the milk either. Um, but yeah, I have that. And every trainer I've ever known says that you shouldn't really have more than one shake a day. And it should be after your workout, just so that you're putting it into you. Um, but yeah, it's the only protein I take. I try to intake 30 grams of protein every 3 hours because s- there's a lot of evidence showing that's the way we digest it best. And it takes about 3 hours to digest a chicken breast, from what I understand. And so chicken breast is really good. Um, and recent studies have come out saying that you can have more than 30 grams of protein now, and your body just takes longer to digest it. So you really just got to do your research. I would love to advise people, but I always give them the disclaimer that everything I have is just some stuff that I've heard from other people, right? And there's always new research being done.
Thank you for that, everyone. That was some healthy tips. But also refer to your um physical trainer, to be sure that, these diets and these tips work best for you. Everyone's body is different. All right, so we're at that end of the chat where I asked all the guests, what is a book, a TV show, or a film that you recommend to the next generation of filmmakers or a public figure?
Public figure. Well, I'll think of one, but I also want to say talk to your elders, talk to your seniors. A lot of forgotten people in the senior homes, you know, they're out there and they have so much to tell you, but they don't have an ear because we tend to tuck them away and we tend to forget about them, and seniors are so rich in information. It's worth just, I don't know, it's worth just going out there and meeting up with your grandma or your grandpa or some other old fogey that you know and just listening to them. Um, Boy, oh boy, I always thought Forrest Gump was a good film. But life-changing one. That's a that's a really hard question. I I like the book and the play 1984. It's a story about a dystopic future. Dystopic means kind of an unpleasant future, really, where the government's in control, and it's a foreshadowing. And that author, um, that's geez, I'm forgetting his name.
George
Orson
Orwell.
George Orwell, yeah. George Orwell, he also wrote Animal Farm. It's another parody of what can go wrong in our society. And those are good ones. History usually repeats itself. Right? So, uh, an actor that I think people should look to would be like Ryan Reynolds. Very positive, very upbeat guy who lives every day like it's his last, and treats his wife well. I mean, so there's so much that he does that it's just something to be looked up to. If I could be a type of actor, I probably wouldn't be as comedic as him, but I'd probably try to live my life the way he does. Well, of course, I don't know his personal life that well, but from what we see, right?
Awesome, awesome. Thank you for that. All right, everyone, that was our episode of Inside Plug. If you like today's episode, don't forget to check out some of our previous episodes and tune in next week. Remember, you can find us on YouTube at Inside Plug 2Gs. All right, that was our episode. Thank you again for actor and military veteran Geordie Cheeseman. This was a pleasure. This is Devon Jones. Remember, stay inspired and keep creating. Inside Plug, signing out.